book people. It's your girl Sasha Bonet here. Welcome back to Reading Sprints and Chai Sips. I want to discuss 10 books that I loved in 2024. They're in no particular order. I love these books. They were all 5 stars to me, and I would recommend these books. Just Right by Shon. If you like Why Choose, Black romance, with a sprinkle of a retelling, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, this one is for you. It is indie. I ate it up. Next up, we have The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a nod to Carrie by Stephen King, where there is race at play, a town that is kind of segregated or has segregated tendencies towards proms and of the like. I enjoyed this book. It also had mixed media. There was podcasts, news reports. I enjoyed this book. I've never read Carrie, and this year I think I might be doing that. But this one, YA, I recommend. I'm going to put the picture of this one up. I got this one for free at my local library. My Soul to Keep by Tananarive, the first book in the African Immortal series. And I got book 1 and I have book 4. I don't own book 2 or 3. However, I love this series, and that's why I started to pick them up. It has speculative fiction, just a lot of what if the world turned into more than just a pandemic of sorts. What if the only thing that could help people was the blood that you possess? I wonder if this will surprise you all. Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh, the Boys of Tommen series. I've read 3 of the 5 books in this series, and this one being the first one. This is the indie version. I love this series. It is heartbreaking. It is heart-wrenching. It has the makings of good storytelling. You have children acting like children, and sometimes being forced to be very adult, growing up very fast. There is a lot of trigger warnings for this book. Physical abuse, family abuse, alcoholism. There is so much going on. Usually as a society, we don't take boys being essayed by grown women as abuse. But yeah, this book took me by surprise this year. I read it with my group of people on TikTok for my book group that's on Goodreads. I devoured this book, and this book is over 600 pages. But it was so good, and I wouldn't change a thing about the writing. Next up, we have Black Indians by Loren Katz, and I annotated this one to the gods because this book was so informative. It is made for young readers, and I believe when I read in the note, Loren Katz wrote this book for everyone. And when he went to pitch it, it was more like no one older wanted to read this, so let's make it for the kids. However, it is interesting. It has so much knowledge. William Loren Katz is not a black man or Native American. He is a white man, and for him to put forth so much information and effort into telling the truth of a story is amazing. I recommend this wholeheartedly. Education is the key to doing things differently in the future. This is one of those books. You just need to read it. This is a book that I would read again and again and again. Also, this book has the intersectionality of Black people in America and Native people in America on the other side of the oppression of white people in America. Next up, we have Chaos Theory by Nick Stone. This book brought tears to my eyes. It is YA romance between 2 characters that are both going through a lot. One is struggling with substance abuse, and the other one is struggling with mental health. And they both collide. And sometimes you have to realize that I can love you and we both not be good for each other. And it's not because they're bad people. They're just going through things separate of each other that they can't be well together. This book was so good. Recommend. YA romance. Next up, we have Punching the Air by Zoboi and Dr. Yusef Salaam. I did, I think, 2 videos over on TikTok about this book. This book is so good. It is written in verse. It is about a young boy who leaves his home, much like Dr. Yusef Salaam did as the exonerated Fave. He leaves his home one day with his friends, and he just ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he ends up locked up in jail, and the other person, a white kid, ends up in a coma. And he's being tried as an adult. He's being treated like a criminal, like he's always been a criminal his whole life. And it also goes through what he goes through in the prison system and how he was treated when he was at school by guidance counselors and things like that. This book is so good. And another book that I recommend. Next up, we have Her Good Side by Rebekah Weatherspoon. And this is a YA romance. I think this is her first foray into YA romance. I think so. I've read 5 other books by Rebekah Weatherspoon. She is an indie author. This is traditionally published, and it's so good. It has so much queer representation. It also has bigger bodied representation. And it shows a different side of YA romance that is needed. Boys can be emotional without being labeled as anything other than what they are. And girls can be positive about their bodies without there being a reason. I just love me. This book was so good, and it put a smile on my face, and this is something I would not have read when I was younger because it wasn't around. Had it been around, this would have been devoured if I was a teenager or younger, or a tween or whatever. This was really good. Next up, we have We Are All So Good at Smiling by Amber McBride. This is a book written in verse. If you don't know, Amber McBride also wrote Me Moth, which is one of my favorite books, also written in verse. This one has a more of a whimsical, fantastical element to the approach of mental health, and it's so good. It's from the mind of teens and how they might see things and encompass thoughts around grief, around loss. This book is so good. Like, I don't know what else to say, but it has this way of making things that don't go together flow seamlessly in this story of mental health and recovering from things that you can't change, but your mind has engulfed you in that grief and that shame and that anger. I recommend this. Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. Now, I got this from Book of the Month. I didn't know whether I was going to like it or not. It took me a while to even start or pick this book up from my shelves. But when I did, it was so good. I love the way that she writes places and times and melds timelines together. It melds the past and the future and the present so well. I have not seen the movie or the show. I think it was a show. I have not seen the show. I never really wanted to watch it. But after reading this, I might just check it out because this was really good. My 10 favorite books from 2024. Let me know if you've read them. Have you seen the show Black Cake? How was it? Because again, I might want to check it out. So let me know if you even read books written in verse. Are you wary of books written in verse? Because I know some people are. But just let me know. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.